them and turn it into a day of victimization for their redcoat system.
Right, they want to demonize it, and they want to erase our own history. So here's what's happening. It's what she wanted to do is being done anyway, even though the bill didn't pass. And Southern Poverty Law Center is just another facet of that. They are acting as the Gestapo secret police wing to go and label people. Instead of having the FBI do it directly, they do it for them. And then DHS feeds off of their fake little reports and comes up with their own report. And then you've got Southern Poverty Law Center then citing the DHS report they helped write. I mean, it's this vicious circle like a puppeteer with two puppets in his hand. It's all the same puppet master. So, and the whole point is to demonize, marginalize, make someone a target, make them outside of the society's protection, and then they stick the dogs on you. Then they stick the military on you if they can, or they stick the police on you at least.
Well, that's what Hitler did. That's what Lenin did. That's what Mao did. First, for 4 or 5 years, in every case, they demonize the group, then they go after you.
That's
and,
right.
We got the secret army document that regular army is watching us and Ron Paul, and that became national news. The good news is, though, it's backfiring because the military is going, why am I spying on Wayne Paul? Why am I spying on Alex Jones? Why am I spying on Ron Paul? Why am I spying on Stewart Rhodes? Why are we following around some little old lady that's handing out yard signs to end the Fed? I really think the establishment is trying to do the same thing the bankers funded in Russia and China and Germany, and I don't see it working.
No, it's not. It's backfiring because they cast such a broad. It becomes absurd. It's like, well, anybody who disagrees with what's going on, or anybody who they can categorize as being anywhere on the political right, is now a potential terrorist. It's just ridiculous. Like the extremist lexicon defined an extremist as being the same as a terrorist, and then it went down a list of all these so-called extremist groups. So we're all automatically terrorists. We're just different stripes of terrorists. This person's an anti-abortion terrorist. This person here is an anti-abortion or an anti-border, free border terrorist. So they just label you different kinds of terrorists, but they pull us all together in one big giant pool of extremist, which means terrorist. And so it's so broad and so sweeping that anyone can see through it, see how ridiculous it really is, unless they're a partisan hack.
Well, Stewart, you also noticed that everybody they list in that DHS report are people that are following something that's constitutional, and it happens to be popular. 81% Gallup poll, control the borders, demonized. Almost 80% say get rid of restricted gun laws. We're winning that fight. We're terrorists. Upwards of 70% now are against abortion, so the majority of us are terrorists. This is an unpopular... Well, it's like national polls show 92% believe the government killed Kennedy now. I mean, so 8% is saying 92% of us are nuts or terrorists. It isn't going to work anymore. I mean, look, the feds might have been able to get away with blowing up their own federal building in 95. They might have been able to get away with that now. I want to caution the black op operators and the mercenaries and others. Cheney's been caught for staging terror in the Middle East to blame it on enemies. It's coming out about Blackwater. You guys aren't going to get away with this because there's people on the inside that are going to blow the whistle from so many angles. You're going to get caught. And I really, Stewart, feel but also intellectually see the momentum has shifted. Now, for leaders like you and myself, they may imprison us or kill us, but we're actually fighting for America in the final battle. I mean, in the main crossroads. So I'm not even worried about it. It's a great honor. I wish I had more lives to give. But for the people out there, if you simply take action, get the word out, expose the globalist, I don't see us being able to be defeated. Even if they blow up federal buildings, even if the Fed set off a nuke, even if they release some deadly flu. Stewart, I've looked at this from every angle. If the people believe they can win, it's over, we win.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing. If we wake up enough of the police and military, as I said in that prior interview, then it's game over for them. You can't do these things without the willing compliance of the troops, of the police. If they have them on their side, then it's still not over for us. We can still fight. But certainly it's better for us to have our brothers and sisters, on our side. So we have to make sure we get as many of them as possible. And that's our mission. And our next big push now is going to be to put an Oath Keeper packet, including an Oath Keeper's guidebook and a tab they can put on their uniform. We want to get those out to every single service member. So we're going to be doing a big money wave between now and November 11th, which is the Veterans Day. And it's going to go into a distinct fund where people can just donate $30, and it will go
And
make sure they understand the message.
It's oath-keepers.blogspot.com.
No, we have a new website, oathkeepers.org.
Oathkeepers.org. We'll also get that up. I want to go to some phone calls, Stewart, in the time we have left with you, but I did want to mention the Joker posters. These were put up in California. Then Mark Dice had his own contest, so I copied him, did a contest. But a few people put these on post office boxes, big deal, but they're saying, oh, big federal felony terrorism. Now they're saying it's an act of terror and abusive, and there's victims if you even put it up where other posters are. They're saying the poster itself is racist, that it's a hate crime to say socialism. I'm not kidding. That's in the news. And they have people on the news saying, I need to be arrested.
That's content-based discrimination. It's content-based targeting. Like you just said, targeting the content. They're not. It's not content neutral. That's unconstitutional.
Yeah, because you're a constitutional lawyer. I was going to ask your opinion. So I mean, so clearly this is discrimination then.
Oh, sure. Even at the ACLU, they'll tell you the same thing. I hope is that it's clearly content-based. I mean, are they doing the same thing to everybody else puts up a flyer? No, they're not. So it's based on your content. That's unconstitutional. I don't care what you're saying. You can have the Klan putting up a swastika, and if they are singled out because of the content, that's also content-based discrimination. That's why the ACLU defended the Klan's right to march through Skokie, Illinois. As painful and horrible as that was, it was to protect the principle that you don't discriminate on content.
Because the minute that the Klan, every one of them federal officers, I've been to these events to protest them, I mean, it's just feds, period. And it's come out over and over again, it's feds to demonize the Patriot movement. Because they'll get up there and give pro-Second Amendment speeches. They'll get up there and give anti-New World Order speeches, all to demonize us. And later it comes out they're feds or informants or, the leaders are being paid to do it. But, yeah, you take those big, fat federal agents right away, you lose your right. And that's why these people sending me emails saying I deserve to go to prison, that just shows they haven't been teaching civics in the schools.
No, they don't understand their own history. I mean, the civil rights movement in the 60s would have gone nowhere if you could have content-based discrimination. That's why they resorted to peaceful marches, because they have a constitutional right. The First Amendment, sadly, the other parts of the Bill of Rights aren't as strongly protected, but the First Amendment's been pretty strongly protected. It's the most potent weapon we have legally, as far as it's the level of protection for it. And you can thank the ACLU for that. They get some things right.
Well, Stewart, let me ask you this. You're talking to the military, you're talking to the police, tens of thousands have contacted you, you have huge events, it's exploding. Yeah. What is their view on seeing all this classic, really Maoist, is the closest thing I would call it, tyranny manifesting? Are they redoubling their efforts to warn other military and police? I mean, clearly, if the government organs and government surrogates like Southern Poverty Law are coming after you, they are. But, I mean, what's the sense of the membership?
Yes, it's making them all the more resolved. And, like you said earlier, it makes it clear that we are in the game now that we all had dread would be coming. It's happening to us right now. And so we are hearing back active duty. In fact, I got an active duty guy right now up on our blog, our site, who are saying, I am making sure I spread this as far and as fast as possible. But we want to help them. We want to put billboards up outside of bases. We want to make sure we get a care package. My goal is to have a care package in the hands of 40,000 active duty troops by Christmas. So that's my goal. And we're starting state networks, too. We now have state chapters with state directors, and our goal is to have an active Oath Keeper chapter in every county of the state to make sure the sheriff is squared away, make sure the police there know who the veterans are, they all become friends, they all know who they have each other's back. That's our goal, is to make sure that we've got our county squared away from the bottom up. And so working as fast as we possibly can. Oh, and Sheriff Mack, in fact, speaking of sheriffs, has a response to Southern Poverty Law Center that he just sent me. We just posted it on our site. So if folks want to go to oathkeepers.org, they can read his well-reasoned response. And also Lieutenant Commander Gilley, who's an active duty naval commander who was with us at Lexington, is writing his response. We'll post that as soon as he sends it in.
Well, good, because if we give in to this chilling effect, in fact, next Wednesday I'll announce the winners to the great Obama poster contest. But I'm going to go ahead and next week announce another contest to keep this going. Regardless, all of you that put posters up, one, be sure and follow your local laws. Don't give these thugs excuses to selectively enforce on you. But because they're